Hey guys, this is Solidworks Crew. Today we're gonna go through some more advanced equation and also. So first, we can just open up a new part by just clicking on new part, and then what we're gonna actually build today is this is just one of the most commonly used part in any kind of HVAC industry, which is just called panner. So what's panner? So as you can see, the panner is just the combination of the inner and outer skin, and then we just insert some type of foam inside. So why are we actually just inserting the foam? So the reason behind we are just inserting the foam is just better insulation, so we can actually just like keep the temperature inside of the specific unit in a kind of, not so by inserting some foam, so we can actually just creating some insulation inside, so we can hopefully just protecting some temperature inside the unit, some of the air flows inside the unit. So that's just one of the biggest reasons we just protecting the temperature and preventing temperature from any kind of outside temperature. Okay, all right, so to start with it, before I jumping in, I just want to actually just like go to the equation. If you are not sure actually where to get this kind of equation, again, actually I'm just going to go to the customize and then go to comments, and then you can just type equation, and then there'll be the third option, which equations. You can just like drag it and then drop somewhere anywhere you like. Okay, all right, so then let's just like firstly go to the equation, and then from the basic equation tutorial video, I definitely mentioned keep it simple, okay, but also at the same time descriptive. So how can you make simple but descriptive? The way we can do it is just, I'm just gonna type PW, and I'm just gonna type 10-inch, and then that's gonna be descriptive on the comments. Okay, so I'm gonna type panel width, and then I'm gonna go to the next, which is the panel length. So the way you can just go without actually just moving your mouse is just if you press tab, that's gonna move to the next cell. Okay, so I'm gonna type 15-inch, and then I'm gonna type panel length. Okay, keep it simple. This is good. And then from the starting point, I'm just gonna start from the top side, and then I'm gonna actually just create the center rectangle. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create one approximate kind of rectangle. And then of course, as usual, we can just click the smart dimension and then just assign to here. And then the way we assigning the equation global variable is just you have to type equal, and then can you see the bottom below the global variable? And if you just like right click, and then you'll be able to see some of the options that you created. But we will now assign the panel width for this time, so I'm gonna click OK. That's good. And then I'm gonna go to the second one, and then it's gonna be a little bit different way. We know actually which letter we have to assign, which is PW is the one that we assign to the top side. So we're gonna type PL, and then you can just press enter several times, and then it's gonna just assigning that equation mark. So as you can see, this equation mark, which means you assign the equation, so you can actually just change the value from here, but the thing is you have to just like delete it, and then that's going to be just manual value update. So the way you can properly updating this value is you have to basically just go to the equation, click it, and then you can just change to 8, and then press enter, click OK, and then that's going to be just updating the sketch value, as you can see it, right? So I'm just going to bring it back to 10. Okay, that's good. And then what we're gonna do next is I just want you to go to sheet metal and then just creating a base flange. That's all the time the starting point, so I just want you to remember that. And I'm just gonna type as just 0.06, and then I'm just gonna extrude basically not to the bottom side but to the top side. So the way you can just like reverse the direction is there's a reverse direction on the down below. I want you to click it, and then you can see it's just going up. If you just uncheck, it's gonna going down. So I just wanna make it up. Okay, and then some of the values below, like K factor, all those things, those are not really impacted since we don't have any vents. So I'm just gonna click OK. Okay, this one seems good. And then I'm just gonna right click and then just assign carbonized, and then that's gonna just assign some specific appearance automatically. So it seems a little bit better with the carbonized. I can actually show the rear view, so it seems a little bit better with it. Okay, that's good. And then this is not the end. I'm just gonna actually just like go to edge flange, or just so you can go to the edge flange over here. And I'm just gonna create a flange here. Click, click, click. This point is just not the most accurate. However, you can also just simply just change this value from here. And then the thing that you have to remember is whether or not you want to actually just like edge flange outside or just edge flange inside. This is just the thing that you have to really determine. But for us, we want to actually just make the outside to outside face dimension should be just accurately kind of nominal value, which is a 10-inch. So we're gonna actually just use the first option. And then we also want to actually just like check for trim side bands, so that could actually just showing some kind of clean bands, corner point, like this. Okay. However, there is some values that I want to actually just make some adjustment basically. So I'm just gonna go to the front view a bit, and then what I want to double check is, yeah. So I just want to make sure just all the way bottom to the top side should be 1 inch. So this is perfect. Okay. Okay, that's good. And then I'm just gonna actually just save it, and then just save it into my local location. Okay, I'm just gonna go to desktop, and then just go to just new folder, and then Panner. And I'm just gonna go to this folder, and then it's gonna be the our skin. Okay, and then the way you can just creating the other part is, you can definitely restart it, but I personally love to just like go to save as, because it's kind of pretty much similar structure. Okay, so I'm gonna actually just like create another one, which is inner skin. Okay, if there's an outer skin, and then there should be inner skin all the time. So that's the way you just like doing it. And then, but the problem is, once you assemble both of them together, the problem is it's gonna be exactly same size. So you better just like change some equation to make it a little bit undersized. So the way you can do is, there's a couple of ways, but I personally love to just keep using the panel width and panel length. And before we jumping into those value update, but I just want to actually just make sure why thickness is just like an exclamation mark. The reason behind it is, if you go to the custom property, and then there should be a custom property which has a thickness. So this custom property value and then global variable is just kind of like interfere together. So if you want to delete it, and then just click OK, and then go back to the equation, and it's gonna be just clean those exclamation marks. So make sure not to use the same name as thickness. You can just like put extra name, so you can differentiate between the global variable and also the custom property. Okay. Yeah, so I just want to keep using 10 and 15 because I just want to be a little bit comfortable basically typing the outside to outside dimension, but the automatically just assigning some values for it. So then, in order for us to make it work, is you have to think about actually what you have to just exclude it. I mean, we are not going to consider some clearance or just tolerance a lot for it, just for the sake of actually just like practice. But more and more, I'm just gonna touch more on the engineering side, such as the tolerance for each panel. The panel, actually, there should be some extra gaps, like 16-7 inch of gaps should be at least apply on one side or just both sides. Like those kind of information. I'm just gonna go through a little bit more detail in the next video. But this time it's just like what we should exclude from the equation. So if you think about it, we have to know the thickness first, because each end, so this panel is gonna be going underneath if you think about it. Okay, and you have to just think about the thickness, subtracting the thickness in one side, and also that you have to subtract the kind of band radius, and also one more time. So it's gonna be 2 times of the one thickness and the one band radius. Okay, so then what you're gonna do is basically, I'm just gonna go here, base flange, and then I'm just gonna double click it to show the equation, and then you have to know what is the band radius and the band thickness, because I don't want to actually just assign like specific value, which is just 0.06, the thickness of it, just because sometimes you have to change it. So if you go to the equations, and then you might notice actually there's some other extra dimensions automatically created other than those two. The one of them is just thickness. Thickness is, if you use a thickness value, and then you'll be able to actually just utilize this value. And what is the bend radius? So the way you can check the bend radius is if you go to the sheet metal and then edit feature, and then you'll be able to see there is a 0.06 and the bend radius is 0.051. Okay, let's go back to the equation. And then you'll be able to see the 0.06 is just basically the thickness, but 0.051 is just the one sheet metal value. Okay, but just to make it even easier, what I can do is we can do bend radius BR, and then what we can do is we can just type. Yeah, I think it's even easier if you can do the thickness. And then we can just type T, and then at the description we can just do thickness. Okay, that is perfect. And then what we're gonna do is BR, and then we're gonna assign some dimension, which is just D1. That's by mistake. We can just click this D1 value, and then just click tab, and then that's gonna be just bend radius. Okay. Perfect. So then you can just easily remember actually T stands for thickness, and then BR for bend radius. Okay, and we're gonna utilizing those values for our application. So what we're gonna do is I just want you to double click this, go here, and then PW, and subtract it, and I want you to open up the bracket, since we're gonna actually just like do 2 times of it. So what we're gonna do is I just want you to do T plus and then BR and then tab, and then just go to the bottom actual option and then enter it, and then just close the bracket. And now I want you to actually just like put the star sign, which is just multiplying, and then 2 times. Okay, and then what that's gonna do is subtracting those 2 times of thickness and then 2 times of bend radius. Okay, I'm just gonna actually just copy this chunk of it because we're gonna actually be using for this panel length of it. So I'm just gonna go to click this kind of earth mark, paste it. Okay, so then what that's gonna do is subtracting like both and each side. So this is gonna be like working properly. Okay, so then let's just jumping into the assembly mode. Okay, I'm just gonna go to make assembly. All right, and then go to the assemble, and I'm definitely gonna inserting this bottom side. Just just drag and drop. That's perfect. And I'm just gonna actually just unfold it. Just because actually just this fix is just fix at the kind of origin point, but it'll be better to just use kind of front plane to mating to the front plane, and then just top plane to just grab 2 top plane and then just assign together, and then right plane to right plane. This is always the best way actually you can just like fix the bottom panel at the correct location. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert the outer skin. So I'm just going to browse it and then go to the same location and then just double click it to just open this up. Okay. But the problem, not a problem, but I personally don't like this structure a bit, just because if you think about because the reason behind it is it's not the end of the world, but like I firstly want to actually just apply some kind of different material, which is just kind of PPD, which is the pre-painted. And also I want to actually just assign different color, because normally the outside of the panel is just pre-painted actually the white or just any kind of like different color of it. So the way you can just assign different color is basically you can just go to tabs here, and then I'm just gonna remove appearance, and then let's see actually if this is gonna be working fine. Yeah, still assigning it carbonized still, so I just want you to go to the paint, and then you can just go to color, and if there's any white one, and then you can just assign, and then just apply for entire body. Okay, and then that's going to be a little bit differentiated, so it's perfect. And I'm just going to go back to the assembly by pressing Ctrl Tab, and then how I'm going to assemble together is straightforward. So basically you can just expand those two, and then just front plane to front plane. Okay, and then right plane to right plane. Okay, and then we can just like, this is the moment actually we're testing these things out. So the way you can just assemble is you can just provide a bit of gap, but you can just assign to this line to line, and then it's gonna be definitely much cleaner fit. So we can actually just like, you know, just creating perfect fits. So we can actually just like look at from the bottom side, so how those fits are kind of working. So yeah, so you can see actually there's a bit of actually gaps. Like as you can see that there's a 0.051. Okay, so if you're having a look at the on the bottom side, as you can see, there's a bit of actually just gaps assigned because the thing that we only excluded is this one band radius and then one thickness, and it's gonna be going. But if you really want to actually just like make this, you know, the outside of the inner skin to touching like face to face, the way you can do is you can basically just not excluding the band radius. So then the way you can just like do is it's gonna be even simpler. So you can just basically just delete the band radius and then just delete the thickness, and then again actually for the height area I'm just gonna delete this thickness. It's perfect, and then you can just control B or Q to just update the size of it, and then once you come back, and then you'll be able to see this is just perfectly touching each other. But ideally it'd be better to just like leave a bit of a gap, because in realistic world it is not optimum to just like right on fit. So at least we can just provide some tolerance, but I'm just gonna leave it as what it is for now, but this is actually pretty much good enough. Okay, so yeah, so today we actually had a look at some of the more advanced equations, such as some, you know, a little bit more automated way, so we don't necessarily just excluding some kind of, you know, value just, you know, one by one. And also the other thing we run is basically you can definitely just like assign some equation, and then but we can also apply on our sheet metal part, so that could be easily automated. And the last part is definitely the assembly. So once you just set up correctly for the inner and outer skin, and then when it comes to assembling, it is so much easier because the plane starting point and everything is just pretty much the same. So you can just like basically assemble or mating by plane to plane, and also just like, you know, clean things up. That's so much easier. So when it comes to actually creating another size of the panel, you can just basically save as, and then just like pack and go, whatever, and then you can just reusing those templates. But we're gonna actually just touch those things a little bit deeply in the future. So any kind of modular design, this is perfect to utilizing this way of actually template. Okay, thanks for watching video, and then hopefully this video was helpful for you, and if so, actually please subscribe to this channel and then just keep watching for the next episodes. Okay, alright, I will see you next one. Bye.